Hello again, I'm Professor Natali, and this is a brief overview of exit interviews. Let's start by defining the term exit interview. We are all familiar with the interviewing process for getting a job, but what about the process for leaving a job? An exit interview involves sitting down with the person to ask why they are leaving, what the company could have done differently, and where they are going. The purpose is not just to be nosy. We are gathering information to assess our company's HR practices and performance. You may think it isn't important to know why a poor performing employee is leaving, but that's not true. The person was hired for a reason. Someone in the company thought he or she would do a good job. What went wrong? Was it the person's fault he failed or wasn't happy, or did we, the company, contribute to the problems? By asking the right questions, we can gather data and use it to help us improve our business and HR practices. In small companies, an employee puts in his or her notice to leave in writing, but it usually doesn't say much. It's just, I've really enjoyed working here, but I've accepted another job, and my last day will be Friday. Thanks for everything. That doesn't tell us anything. And if we ask open-ended questions, the kind where the employee can talk about anything, it may be hard to categorize comments into useful buckets that we can use on and act on later. So what do? We use structured questions and ask the same ones to every person, just like we do in our initial job interviews. We should also treat the process similar to the initial job interview by HR meeting with the employee privately and documenting what is said. It is good to use a checklist of some sort for managers to use to ensure a consistent process. So what types of questions do we ask in an exit interview? They need to be tailored to your particular company and created to uncover information you feel is important and you would actually be able to use. So following are some examples in 4 categories. The reason the person is leaving, or the spark to leave. The organization as a whole. The management, including the direct supervisor and leadership overall. And general recommendations to improve. The very first question may be the most important of all. Why is the person leaving? Was there an incident, a spark, that caused them to start looking? These questions help you dig under the superficial reasons of better opportunity and they can also help uncover brewing legal issues, such as an incident that upset the employee so much that he or she plans to sue. The next group of questions are on the overall organization. What was good, bad, and ugly about the company? Did the person understand and agree with the mission and vision of the organization? How do they feel about the organization from a customer perspective? Do we have good quality and good customer service, or not so much? The third group of questions focus in on management and leadership. It is well known that people don't leave companies, they leave managers. So asking how the person got along with his or her manager is important. This is also a great time to ask for areas in which the supervisor could improve, and you can then use this information in their development. Finally, one of the top 3 reasons people are leaving jobs these days, particularly millennials, is the lack of growth opportunities. This doesn't have to be a higher level position either, but rather a personal and professional development. Asking whether the exiting employee felt supported in this regard gives you the data to use in your training and succession planning efforts. The fourth area of questions is related to the job itself. Did we describe the job to you accurately when you applied and when you were selected? Did you have the resources and support needed to do your job effectively? What about feedback? Did you get constructive feedback day to day or in the annual performance development process? And finally, what qualities and characteristics will the next person need to be successful here? The last area I will mention is related to any recommendations the outgoing employee has for us. What are their views on the compensation, benefits, and rewards offered? Would they consider working for us again in the future? If so, what would be deciding factors in that decision? And finally, what other comments or recommendations does the person have that would help us improve as a company or as individuals? By this time, folks, the person is pretty exhausted and probably ready to leave. Make sure your exit interview questions are thorough but not overwhelming. Make sure you are asking everyone the same questions and that they're structured. And make sure you document all comments as close to verbatim as possible. That's it for now. As always, please let me know if you have any questions.